Hello, everybody. This is Jess Lewis with the Structural Building Components Association, SBCA. It's another weekly update. First, early bird registration for BCMC is complete. BCMC FS. We talked about that last week. I'll get it right. And we are a little bit ahead of last year. It is, curious to watch the numbers come in. Columbus typically is a high water mark. If you look at how attendance ebbs and flows over the years, Columbus is a great drive-in market. It was very good for, early bird last year as well. We almost outpaced Omaha last year. And we are, I think if I did my math correctly, we're about 7 registrations ahead of where we were at last year. However, it does skew a little bit more towards the exhibitor side of things, which last year we had a low exhibitor count compared to what we normally do for a ratio of exhibitor to attendees. So if you felt like you were in a line a little bit longer to talk to an exhibitor, that was why last year. This year, I think we're going to get it a little bit more corrected. So just a couple fewer CMs, but overall, we're trending a little bit better overall for early bird, which is great to see. I think it's going to be a great show. Indianapolis isn't a terribly far distance from Columbus. So it'll be interesting to see how much we get for drive-in, if there's repeat, if people found value last year. I remember way back when I was first on the BCMC committee, we argued about let's go here, let's go there, let's do, it's a constant conversation. But one of the things that we did then is analyze how often do people come? And obviously we're going to have a certain percentage that are going to come every year, and that's what they do. But then there's another percentage that comes like every third year. Well, is that because of the geography and it's just because it's close to them? Or is it that they just they figure they get the information they need? Obviously, I'm biased, but I want people to attend every year because you got to stay, you got to keep the knife sharp. You can't just sharpen it every third year. So if you're thinking about coming to Indianapolis, you've not signed up yet, please do so. It's going to be a great show. BCMCFS, got it there. But, the education sessions, obviously, we've talked a little bit about the supplier-led sessions, which is going to be great. Had another couple conversations about that this morning. We're going to have our traditional sessions. We're going to have a great show floor. And we were talking about it yesterday in a staff meeting of like, wow, it really looks good. Like we get to see how it all gets laid out and how it's organized and everything. It's going to feel awesome. And, a couple of our longtime staff members were like, holy cow, look at this, look at that. Wow, it's really going to think. And I was like, well, have you met Ali Saladin? She's the one that does all this. She's our event planner, event coordinator, director of events for SBCA, BCMC, FS. So her and I, we actually got to travel this week to Atlanta, Georgia for the ASAE conference, which is where I think it's American Society of Association Executives. We get to plan for years out. Like what's the system we use for registration? What are the cities we go to? What are the certain things? Again, there's all kinds of other things and tools for association executives like us, but it was a great experience. We got to meet with some indie folks. One thing that we are realizing we've got an issue is our rooms. We still have rooms for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights, but Monday night is getting booked up. So if you go in and try to go Monday to Friday, or your check-in, check-out, you're probably going to come up with a problem. That's because we're trying to figure out how to add more rooms for Monday night. The facilities, a couple of them that we're working with are completely sold out. So we're working with some other hotels. So a couple solutions, find somewhere else on Monday night. It's inconvenient, but you did, you're after early bird. It's a little bit later in this session. So it's kind of, one of those, but we're also looking at adding a couple hotels. So, book somewhere Monday and then come to the event hotels, the Hyatt, not the Hyatt, the Marriott, the Westin, and the Omni. Hyatt's one of the ones that we're looking at adding just to have that, extra for those couple nights. But again, it's not convenient, but, we want you to be there. We want you to stay at our host hotels as well, just for a lot of different reasons. That's where the camaraderie happens. That's where the conversations are going to have after the hours and, a little bit of a cocktail and dinner situation. So make sure you find your way there. But if you do run into problems, if you do have issues, keep checking back, reach out to our staff. We'll try to figure something out. We'll have recommendations. We'll probably put something notice on the website on what to do, but know that it's not like the Indianapolis city is sold out. There will be places for you to stay. It's just a matter of, kind of that early bird, all the worms have been eating. But beyond that, a couple other things I want to talk about. I've got about a minute left, so I'm going to try to go quick. Our committees. Now, we're in the process of setting up our committees before BCMC for next year. We've got most of our chairs, co-chairs. We've still got a few to figure out, but I've been having those conversations, been having some really fun, people that want to get engaged, that, whether they've been on the board or they've been thinking about it or that kind of stuff, they've been coming to the OQMs. That's kind of the pool we draw from. So we've got, those chairs and co-chairs having that conversation, but we need to fill out some committee member spots and people that want to just participate. And there's different ways. Some of the committees are online to where you can do it via Zoom. Others are, yes, you should probably be at the OQM. So think about that as you want to go. couple of them specifically that I want to talk about are advocacy. That is, we're taking kind of a two approach to it, or two, channel. Obviously, we've got advocacy, which is kind of legislative in its history. We've got local issues codes. That's one to where everybody everywhere can try to make an impact. We all have building codes to deal with. It's very granular in nature. So we want to try to get some activity going that way, to where we can figure out what to do, how to work with the local code officials, that sort of stuff. So that is hyper local. That'll be a lot of Zoom stuff. And we want to expand that, via the Zoom aspect or Teams or whatever your favorite of the flavor of the week is, to where we also have kind of a federal or national approach to where we can start talking to legislators that are in DC. So we've got some expertise between our chairs there. I'm just in the midst of just finalizing it. I think I've got some commitments. Rick Farino is going to chair that, but the co-chair, I'm going to be excited to announce that. I just have to have another conversation with her just to solidify a couple things, but I'm really excited to announce that. So if you're interested in any of that, either if it's a codes level and you want to just help get some advice on how to do things locally, or if you want to try to engage nationally with your senator, representative, or, even some things that we probably need to be doing is engaging like the HUD officials, maybe some OSHA officials, that kind of stuff, which we've been learning about with NFC. So think about that. But the other committee is going to be our QC committee. Jeff Smith is heading that up with Scott Ward co-chairing. Those two dudes know their QC, the quality control. We've got a few others. We need some CMs in there that are very conscious about quality. Every CM should be conscious about quality using digital QC. If you're not, do it now because it's the best. And beyond that, start having the influence, talking about it, conversations, whether or not it's plate issues or weighing or lumber quality, whatever it is, those inputs, making sure that we're following TPI1. What should we be thinking about? And it's a ways away. What should we be discussing for a proposal change or something to go there with TPI1 when it comes up for renewal here in 5, 6, 7 years, whatever the cadence that TPI works on? We want to be ready for that. We want to start having those conversations. What are the interpretations? What should we discuss? We did that in Buffalo, and it's one of those that we need to continue that. QC committee is the best way to do that. We're also looking at wall panel QC. What can we do to kind of digitize that without, it's not like we're going to try to analyze a wall with software, but being able to record it. That's one thing that Gene, our current president, he's almost done, but he's been very passionate about. We're looking at doing there. Howard Gager, Tim at CCA out of the Chicago area, they've been very vocal about it. We've got some things that are kind of going on there as well. Steve Kennedy, I think, has provided some input there as well. So those are things that we're going to be working on in the QC. So QC advocacy, think about that. If you'd like to get involved, we are looking for people that can get involved. One other area that we approved in Buffalo was an education committee. Now, I'm getting a call about it already. So, there you go. That's how prompt this stuff works. I've got 0 viewers supposedly, but I'm still getting the calls, right? Anyway, back to the education committee. Trying to figure out what that structure is going to look like. Is it CM led? Is it CM only? How do we incorporate vendors? We got to be careful, like we are with BCMC, protect that sanctity of what it is that we offer to our members and to the overall the supply chain, if you will. Like, what is specific for CMs? What do we need to present there for their knowledge? Same for framers. But what do we need to provide to architects, engineers, the specifier community, the code officials, the builders? Those are things that we need to start looking at, as well as just their continuing stuff throughout the year webinars. There's a whole bunch of stuff to talk about, to look through there. So we need to figure out what that charter of that committee looks like. I'll be having those conversations at the governance committee and the executive committee level. Holy crud. If you're still with me, congratulations. You got some patience. I went long today, very long, but I'm excited. I'm amped up. We got a lot going on. It's going to be a great few months here at BCMC, FS, and SBCA. I'm looking forward to all the 40th celebration stuff too. If you've not registered for that, do it. Deadline's coming up. With that, I'm going to put the peaks up, press on, and talk to you next week. And I honestly thought I wasn't going to have anything to talk about this week. I'm sorry, folks. I'll take care of your time next week and hopefully make it up to you. Goodbye, and have a great day, week, weekend, and next week.